What's up, everybody? It is time for an episode of Tier Maker. This being the first episode, I can understand if you're a bit confused, but whatever, let's just roll with it. So here we have a bunch of MLB uniforms. I happen to be a big fan of different kinds of uniforms, less of a fan of other kinds of uniforms, but I thought it would be fun to rank these on a scale from S to F. I think it would be better if we had one more row. There's going to be some here that are not even worthy of the D rating. So let's get that all ready. Let's give that a nice gray color and differentiate it from this one. Let's put that in purple or something. Okay, so let's get to it. So first we have the home Washington Nationals. It's a nice looking one. It's perhaps a bit plain. I mean, you'll see a lot of um, home uniforms with just the plain white, and I tend to think they're very nice. Maybe not super eye-catching, but pretty nice looking uniforms. I think one thing that differentiates this one, and there's another one that you can compare it to over here in the middle, is this one has the American flag folded into the W, and I think that probably boosts it up a tier compared to just the standard Washington Nationals uniform. So I think this is a solid one. I think it's a worthy B tier entry. Next, we have the kind of dark powder blue St. Louis kind of throwback. I love the St. Louis Cardinals uniforms, but I'm not quite as much of a fan of the uh, powder blue, and I think the St. Louis looks a little bit worse than just the Cardinals. I know some probably diehard Cardinals fans will disagree. But for this one, I think it's just kind of middling. Part of it has to do with the fact that the regular, everyday white Cardinals uniform is so great. So this one doesn't shine up nearly as much. I think it's kind of middling. So let's put this in the C tier. Okay, here we got the kind of new as of, I don't know, 4 or 5, 6 years ago, blue kind of boring Padres uni. This one's very mediocre. I think that it's not really that great at all. Uh, Whenever the Padres move over to their more blue color scheme, it's just not very impressive. There's just so many blue teams, and the Padres have a lot better things going for them, which we'll see coming up next with the brown uniforms. I think it's not awful, but it's pretty mediocre. So that's going to go in the D tier. Now contrast this with the really cool, swanky looking black and yellow uniforms. I know that they were planning on going to these brown babies pretty pretty much entirely this year. I think that's going to be their new primary uniform. I love these. They just look awesome. Brown is really differentiating them from the rest of the crowd. This is a top tier uniform. I think that's got to be S tier. I don't think most people would disagree with that choice. And then here we got the away San Diego uniforms with the big D in the middle. Again, not really a fan of these. I think these belong basically with the home uniform. Neither one of these is just like totally repulsive, but they're very mediocre and not very impressive. Okay, these are all entirely crazy order. I mean, some of them are grouped together, but we're going to be jumping around a lot, so bear with me. Here we got kind of the orange alternate for the Giants. They are pretty nice looking uniforms. This is the interesting G font that you kind of see sometimes, but not super often with the Giants. Um, it's not really common enough to really feel like a super great Giants uniform. It kind of looks nice. And I know the G, some people like this style of G, especially since Willie Mays um, wears this a hat with that particular G on it. But this is just, it's not really an iconic Giants uniform, and I don't really. put much value into it. Unfortunately, even though it's got a nice pop to it, I think that's got to go in the D tier. There's just not really enough going for it to put it any higher. Back to the Padres, we got the dark blue SD. Usually, I'm not a huge fan of just like the logo interlocking on the left side, but this is actually a pretty solid looking uniform. It's not amazing. It's better than the white home uniform. So I'm gonna put this up and see. Excuse me. And now we have some really nice contenders over here. This is the home white Cardinals, the iconic Cardinal on the bat uniform. I think this is one of the best uniforms out there. I don't think anybody will disagree with me too much. Um, I've got to stop scrolling up and down. Yeah, this is an easy S tier choice. If you disagree, you I don't know what you're watching. You just have to reevaluate things about your life. That's one of the best uniforms out there. There's no bones about it. It's probably the greatest uniform in baseball, and this comes from not really a big fan of the Cardinals, but yeah, that's up there. S. Then you got the away version of the same thing, perhaps a little bit less appealing just because of the away gray, but I actually like a lot of away uniforms, and this is, again, one of the best ones out there. I think this is a solid A. All right, here we got the Washington Nationals home standard uniform. I think this is going to be a tier below the American flag version. It's nice. Nothing to super write home about. It looks solid, kind of similar to the San Diego one. Doesn't have as much going for it as the one I put in the B tier, so it's a C. Then we have the home Giants. Yeah, this is a classic uniform. It makes me think of like Barry Bonds and uh, the early 2000s, and also the early 2010s when the Giants went on that even year run. I think this is a classic. It looks great. It's got the orange coloring, which a lot of home whites don't have. I think this is a really, really good one. This one belongs in B. All right, next we have the away Washington Nationals with the curly W logo. You can't really see it a lot. This would be a pretty uninteresting one, except for the fact it has that curly W, which some people say it looks like Walgreens, and it's hard to deny. But it does set it apart from a lot of just plain away unis. And so I think this is quite a good away uniform. I'm a little bit less infatuated with away uniforms than home, although I think I like them better than the average person. I think this is a very nice choice. I think this belongs in B. Okay, now we have the St. Louis kind of cream colored semi throwbacks. These are really nice. Again, not as much of a fan of the St. Louis versus the Cardinals, but these are still really solid looking uniforms. I think these belong in B. Okay, now we have the alternate with the American flag Washington Nationals. This one is nice. I don't think it really carries as much weight as the home whites with the same logo, but it still looks kind of cool. I don't think you see the Washington Nationals wear this one too much, but it still looks nice, and I like the American flag folded into the W, so I'm going to put this one in C. Okay, now we have the home black alternates for the San Francisco Giants. It's kind of similar to the San Diego version. In fact, it's exactly the same as San Diego, except it's got orange black, of course, instead of the dark blue and white. I think these are cool. They got kind of that Halloween thing going for them. They're not, again, not super iconic, but they're nice. I think these belong in C also. Okay, so now we have the red alternates for the Washington Nationals. Doing a lot of bouncing around the National League. We haven't had an American League team yet. Okay, cool. These ones are okay. I think the Washington Nationals have better uniforms out there. I think these are going to go in C also. I think you'll see a lot of these kind of nondescript alternate jerseys in the C tier. Okay, we got the away San Franciscos. These are nice, especially for away uniforms. I think the San Francisco is a little bit long to go along in, and you kind of see this extra arch, which makes it look a little awkward. You kind of see a similar thing in Pittsburgh, although the away Pittsburgh ones I think look a little bit better. These ones are pretty just kind of okay. I'm not a huge fan of them, but I don't really hate them enough to put them in D, so I think these are going to go in C also. Okay, you got the Nationals on the dark blue. Yeah, I think are going to also belong in C. Not really too much but to say about those. All right, and I think this will be our last Padres one. The Padres have a lot of uniforms. This is the camo. Of course, the San Diego Padres are very much affiliated with a lot of military activity, and they have lots of um, military send-offs and first pitches and things like that. They wear these every Sunday, I believe. Pretty much the only camo jersey that I like, and it's because of that affiliation. And so I think that because they are kind of so set apart from all the other teams that try to do it, I think these belong in B. Um, I guess aesthetically, I'm not huge fan of them, but kind of more of what they represent. I kind of like what the Padres do, and it's got some tradition behind it. So I think that puts it above those kind of like middling C tier ones and puts it solidly in B. And then you got the away San Francisco's, very similar to the one with San Francisco across the middle, except now you got the logo. I think these are actually not really very good. They kind of have everything that the San Francisco away has, but a little bit worse. The just kind of plain logo maybe works a little bit better for a colorful uniform than the gray. So unfortunately, these are going to go in D tier. Okay, are we done with San Francisco and the Padres? No, there's another Padres one coming up. All right. Here we have the sleeveless Colorado black jersey for the Rockies. Oh God, I do not like sleeveless jerseys. I think you will probably not see this be ranked well at all. I think this has got to go in F. Thankfully, the sleeveless jerseys are dying a slow death. I think is Colorado the only one still wearing them? Pittsburgh had them for a while. I just am not a fan. They don't really look very good, and they are kind of more determined about what the undershirt looks like, and uh, just the sleeveless look is just it's not that classic baseball look that you see with lots of the uniforms. So it's got to go. It's not good. That's an F. Okay, our first American League team, we have the Oakland Athletics. This is a very nice jersey. The A's have a great color scheme, set apart from pretty much any team. No team does the kind of forest green and gold. These look really spiffy. The kind of logo symbol, while maybe not amazing on every team, looks really sharp here. They got the giant A. It looks really cool, that kind of gothic look, set apart with the really poppy green. I think this is a very, very good uniform. Maybe not quite S. I think this is going to go in A tier for the A's. All right, now we kind of got this blue camo. I said I don't really like camo, and there's really only one good camo jersey out there. This is not a good look. The dark blue camo. I am not a fan of this. Pretty much any alternate camo is is not going to look good. I don't know if I quite hate it enough to put in F, but it's not going to do better than D. So I think that's going to go in D tier. All right, Chicago White Sox. Their away jersey with kind of the script Chicago. It's a nice looking one, maybe a little bit on the boring side. I don't really have a huge problem with this jersey, but it doesn't really excite me in any way. I think that's a ticket to the C tier. Okay, now we got the kind of throwback to, I think this is kind of a 70s, 80s look, where they had the socks across the middle. This always reminds me of Chris Sale. I don't think it was these uniforms, but he had the incident where he cut up the White Sox uniforms because he didn't want to wear them. I think those were more of like an early 1900s throwback. But these still make me think of Chris Sale, and I think they're really snappy looking. I think they look great. The Sox stripe across the middle is very unique. Yeah, this is an A. This is definitely an A. Okay, so we got Cleveland Indians home. This is a pretty decent home white. I don't think it's anybody would blink at it. It looks nice. It's got the nice script I, sort of similar to the way Washington has the nice script W. I am not super into it, but I think it's a nice looking one. It's probably the best uniform the Indians have. I think that this is going to be a B tier. I guess I also like the kind of swoop underneath coming off the S. It's just a very aesthetically pleasing script, and it looks good on the home white. So I think that's a B. Then you kind of get this alternate dark Cleveland. I don't really see much to like about this one. I don't really think you even see the Indians wear this one very much. It's just not something you really associate with the Indians, and it doesn't look that great. It looks kind of very spring training-y. I think this is a D. And then you kind of got the alternate reds. These are also pretty nondescript. Don't really associate them with the Indians. I think this is a D also. All right, the away Cleveland with the block letters. I think this looks definitely better than the last two Indians ones. This one's pretty good. It kind of reminds me of when the Indians were in the World Series against the Cubs. It's yeah, I think there's nothing to super hate about this one. Maybe not the best one out there. That's a C. All right. Detroit Tigers, home whites with the Gothic D. This is a classic uniform. It makes me think of Justin Verlander when he was with the Tigers. It's a really good one. It's just solid. It the Gothic D is pretty iconic. I think it looks amazing. The way you get it on the hat, and you also get it on the kind of side of the uniform there. I think it's just there's not really another logo out it that has that kind of font to it. I think there's a lot to like about the Gothic D, and it's it's just a really good, solid one. There's not really too much to say about it. I'm trying to reach for words because it's so plain and so easy to like. I think this is an A one. Yeah, not much more to say about that. And then you got the away Detroit Tigers. This one, I mean, they've had it forever. It looks good. It's kind of got the orange in it, which maybe is a little more interesting than just the regular home uniform, and kind of fits in with the Tiger mantra. It's kind of funny though that you don't really see a lot of Tiger related stuff with the Detroit Tigers, except for that wacky looking old logo. What was it from the 30s? Yeah, the baseball cat style one. Yeah, I think the orange is a nice touch, but I'm not too enamored with it. I think this is a C. All right, we got the home Astros. I liked what happened when the Astros moved over to this uniform. This is kind of in the middle of the really bad streak when they were losing 100 games. They were still terrible, but they did the rebranding, and the new Astros look, which was kind of a throwback look, looked really solid compared to the old one. I don't think the block letter font is really amazing. And also, it's kind of weirdly arched to me, especially for such a short word. I, while I like kind of the idea they were going for, I feel like the execution is a little bit lacking. It's not awful, but it's not my favorite home uniform for sure. This is actually okay. It's only the second home white that you'll see in the C tier here, but I think that's where it belongs. And then you got pretty much the same one except for Houston and the away grays. Oddly, I like this one a little bit better. I'm not really sure exactly what it is. I think it might be that the word Houston seems a little bit better set on the center than the word Astros. Uh, I think this is a really nice looking away uniform. I think this is really good. The block letters don't seem kind of as blocky to me. I think this is a B. Okay, Baltimore Orioles away. You kind of got the script B here. Uh, and one thing I always like about the Baltimore Orioles is the patch on the side of the arm with the Maryland flag pattern, which I always think looks really awesome. Uh, you'll see that on this uniform as well. Uh, but beyond that, there's not really too much going on here. It's just the word Baltimore. It's got the underline underneath. I think this is a C also. Okay, you got the alternate burnt orange Astros. I think this looks better than the home white Astros with pretty much the same exact font and spacing and everything. I think this is going to go in the B tier along with their away uniform. And then you kind of got these blue Astros. I don't really, I can't even think of a time when I've seen them wear this. This is not an Astros uniform to me. Maybe it's kind of a spring training one. This is pretty nondescript. I'm going to put this in D. All right, so let's move on to the Kansas City Royals. We got like five Royals ones in a row. Home whites for the Royals. I think the Royals have really nice looking uniforms. The word Royals and the royal blue, it's very simple. It's got a lot going for it, a lot to like. It's kind of got that same Gothic D quality that the uh, Detroit Tigers have, where there's not a lot to say about it, but that's kind of why you like it. I like a lot about this Royals logo. The Royals have some really nice uniforms, and I think this is one's up there. This one's got to go in A tier. Then you have the away Kansas City. Again, very nice. Perhaps not quite as good as the home Royals, but part of that might be due to the fact that Kansas City is a really long name and it kind of stretches across. But considering how long the words are, it looks really nice. I know that they kind of played with how the stretchiness of it, like maybe I think they shrunk it and made them a little flatter. It used to be the Kansas was a little bit stretched from up down, but these are really nice. I think these are B. Okay, now we have a couple alternates. We got the powder blues for the Royals. Yeah, these are great. Again, it's kind of similar to the home whites. There's not a lot to say about them. Powder blue in a few cases can really come off well. I don't think a lot of teams in the MLB pull off the powder blue well, but the Royals are definitely one of them. This is an excellent uniform. This has got to go in A tier. And then you have the alternate darker blue, which looks nice, not as nice as the other ones with the powder blue. The KC logo again looks good, uh, but you already have it on the hat, and so it's a little bit less set apart. It kind of reminds me more of these more middling, kind of just logo alternate jersey types. I think I'll put it in B though, not with the rest of those alternates, like the San Francisco Giants and the Washington Nationals and the Padres. This one goes in B because the dark blue royal color is really nice looking, and that just elevates it a step higher. Like I said, the Royals have excellent uniforms. All right. I don't even know if I should count this. This is the 2016 World Series champion Royals with the gold numbers. Yeah, this one, I might actually skip this one because it doesn't really belong with the rest. It was just a 1 year thing. I kind of like how bold it was that they put the gold on it. I know they also made the gold crown and put it over the KC on the hat. Those were all really cool ideas, but since they're not bringing those around until they win the World Series again, which is probably going to be 30 years from now, or at least 30 years from 2015. Sorry, Kansas City Royals fans. I don't feel right really ranking this. It almost belongs in a separate category of its own. So, um, can I just like skip this or put it near the end? Or yeah, okay, let's just do that. All right, we got the home Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. I like these. I like the A with the halo. I think it's a good look. I don't like it as much as the old lowercase a with the halo. I think that was a better logo, but Hey, these are really nice looking. Probably the white home Angels uniform is the best one they have. I think this is totally solid. This goes in B tier. Then you have the same thing again, perfectly good uniform. Uh, the away one looks just as good as the home one. I think this has got to go in B also. All right, this might be a little divisive. This is the red on red home Angels alternate. They might also wear this on in away games. I have never been a huge fan of the red on red. It's too much red. There's not enough contrast. I don't think it's that great of a uniform. I would rather they forego this for the just kind of classic white or gray. I don't even like these as much as the kind of alternate symbol on the heart ones. I think this has got to go in D. Sorry. All right, we got the alternate orange Orioles. This one is perfectly fine, totally nondescript. This is belongs in C along with these other kind of mediocre alternates. Okay, we got the Twins home with the big Twins word. Win is underlined, which I always like. I think that's really cool. It's not going to blow your socks off, but this is a really solid uniform. I think this belongs in the B tier. And then we have the uh, away Minnesota Twins. Not quite as good as the home. I think these are maybe a little bit more on the nondescript side. Sort of reminds me of the Baltimore Orioles away uniform. This one's gonna go and see. Whew, dear. This is the alternate. Uh, I mean, I guess yeah, they do wear these in the regular season. It's got the TC, which is I know some people love that logo, but I am just not a fan of the TC. I prefer the old M with the underline logo that they used to have in like the 90s. Go and watch Little Big League. That M logo looks way better in my opinion. I know they really love the TC. They put it on the hat and everything. I am really not a fan. I'm kind of debating between D and F here. Since I kind of dislike the logo, on top of the coloring, which doesn't really look great either. The red in the primary is not the Twins look, in my opinion. This is an F, sorry. Uh, on the other hand, this dark blue with the red popping Minnesota word, this is a great alternate. Uh, Probably one of the better alternates out there. I think this belongs in B. The Twins have like kind of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing going on where they have some of them that are great and other ones that are not great at all. Okay, we have the New York Yankees home. Of course, this is the classic pinstripe jersey. It's so classic that when people say pinstripes, they are not referring to any other pinstripe jersey. I think this is the first pinstripe jersey we've had here. This is an iconic jersey. I don't think anyone will argue that this is one of the greatest jerseys uh, out there. I don't know if it's quite S-worthy because it's a little on the plain side. I know that's kind of blasphemy. And also the lack of word on the back with the player's last name. I mean, again, another classic choice. The New York Yankees have never had the last names of players, and that's all wrapped up in tradition. But I don't know. I kind of like seeing the last name of a player when I'm watching a baseball game on TV. And so that just bumps it down a peg, but really it's just an iconic jersey and there's a lot to love about it. The NY logo looks amazing with that nice the wide Y. You kind of see it's a little bit different than the hat logo NY, which is a little bit more squinched together. I think the one on the uniform is the better NY looking one. There's just a lot to love here. Not perfect, but almost perfect. I think it's got to go in A. I could definitely be convinced to bump that up to S, but for now, I'm going to put it in A. Okay, and then we got the away New York. I think sort of simplicity is king here. Uh, this Maybe this is part of why I dislike the San Diego away with the giant D in the middle, is just because it looks like a total ripoff of the classic New York away logo, of New York away uniform. I mean, this is a might be the best away uniform in baseball. It's just it looks so classic. It doesn't need to be anything more than it is. Again, it has the same no name problem, but in some ways I kind of like it more than the pinstripes because it's just like it's so stark. I just love the way it looks aesthetically. I This is a definitely A tier. All right, you have the home whites for the Athletics. These are solid. Nothing not to like about these. The green and yellow don't quite pop against the white, maybe as much as some other colors, but they're still really solid. Um, I think there's nothing not to like about these. I think these are a solid B. And then you got a similar one with the Oakland away uniform. Uh, Again, I think this is a very nice looking away uniform. I don't really divorce it that much from my opinion on the home uniform there. That's a B also. All right. Yeah, the A's have some really mighty fine alternates. This is this bright yellow. It's kind of the flip of the green and yellow one that we did earlier. I love these. I love the way they look. I think they're a step better than the plain home and aways. I think these are an A, another A for the A's. And then you got kind of got the lighter green for the Oakland A's. These ones are not as good as pretty much any of the other A's uniforms. They just don't stand out as much to me. They look a little muted. You don't really see them wear this particular jersey as much. I think this is a C, kind of in the nondescript, mediocre alternate category. All right, primarily black alternate uniform for the Baltimore Orioles. This is a great looking one. The orange really pops off of the black. I like it better than the sort of similar looking alternate San Francisco Giants orange on black. I think the script O really stands out here. I think these are really good. I love when the Orioles wear these. I think this is an A. This is the best primarily black uniform out there. Okay, we got the Seattle Mariners home whites. The Seattle Mariners home whites are good looking uniforms. I think that they look pretty solid. I don't think anybody will disagree that these are nice looking. They belong in B. They are not really super setting themselves apart either. The compass over the M is a nice touch, but uh, not really the most amazing look. I think that they're just B. Excuse me, they're just okay. Uh, okay, so we got the away grays for Seattle. These are even a little bit less impressive than the home whites. I think these are in C. All right, this is one of my favorite uniforms, the home teals for the Mariners. Oh man, I love these. Nobody else has this color. Amazing look. I have one of these jerseys. I have my Robinson Cano home teal. This is one of my favorites. It's great. I don't really know even what to say about it. I just love it so much. It's 100% S. It's it's got all the things to love about an alternate, where it's just a really poppy looking color. The letters are even silvery and glisten. That it's just a really amazing looking uniform, and I don't think that there's anywhere else for it other than S. As for Seattle, and there's the alternate blues. On contrast to the teals, I do not like these. I Part of my dislike for them, I think, comes from the font. They kind of have this serify font, which I am not a fan of. Uh, I and part of the rest of it is I just the Mariners have much better uniforms out there. I just dislike these dark blues, and they wear them so much. I think these kind of belong in the same genre as that red on red Angels, where it's just like why wear this one? why not wear the teal or why not wear the white? It's just those are way better. This is just kind of an upsetting uniform. I got to put it in D. And then you have the home Sunday alternates for the Seattle Mariners. This is kind of a throwback to their old yellow tinged look from the 70s. I like these. They kind of got the cream and yellow, royally blue look, which all contrast very well with each other. Uh, they don't have the name on the back, which maybe is a little bit more of a downside, and also it's not the most iconic Mariners look, even though it is kind of a throwback. I'm not a huge fan of these. I don't really dislike them either. I just got to put these in C. All right, home Rays whites. The Rays are kind of an interesting choice. They're not really a team that's been around for very long. They had that rebrand where they went from the Devil Rays to the Rays, and that kind of like ray of light point is kind of an interesting visual effect. It doesn't really stand out very well on the white uniform, and so as a result, I'm not really a fan of these home whites. I think these are going to go in C tier. It works a little better on the away gray, though, I have to say. This is a B. All right. For the Rays, I don't think they pull off the kind of powdery blue look as well as the Royals, or as well as the Philadelphia Phillies, which we'll see a little bit later. These are good. They're just good. I think these are C. I do like these dark blue alternates, though. I think these pop a lot better. The ray of light uh, just kind of beams out of there, just like it should. This is a really nice looking uniform. I think it kind of belongs in the same genre as the alternate Baltimore Orioles. I really like it. Even for a team that doesn't have a lot of history, I think this is a really nice looking uniform. Makes me think of Evan Longoria. It's just really, uh, really solid. I gotta go A. Okay, Texas. Texas is an interesting case. Uh, I've never been a huge fan of their uniforms. I like the font that they use. I think that it's kind of got that cowboy look. Uh, and the X in the middle, like, really does look cool aesthetically. But I've never really loved the way that their jerseys look, just kind of as a whole. I think their best look is the dark blue, or maybe the away gray. The home white is a little bit plain for my tastes. I think this is a C. Okay, home Red Sox, another iconic one. This I think has got to go in the same tier as the Yankees home. It's one of those old iconic jerseys. You just think of all the Red Sox that have worn this. It's just it's classic. It doesn't have the name again, which bumps it down a peg, but really good. This is A. All right. Away grays for Texas. Kind of what I was saying earlier. These look nice. Not really too much to say about them. They're not super descriptive. Got the nice font. I like these. These are a good away uniform. These go in B. And then the red version for Texas. This is probably my least favorite Texas Rangers uniform. I don't really like when they wear these at all. I think there's other teams that wear the red a lot better. I gotta go in D for this one. Maybe I'm just not a fan of primarily red jerseys. Look at this. Okay, the dark blue. Dark blue looks a lot better for Texas. I think these are solid. They got all the good parts of the Texas font, and it really stands out with the white lettering. I think these are good. These are B. Okay, Toronto Blue Jays. I think these guys have some of the best logos and uniforms in sports. I just absolutely love the way the Blue Jays jerseys look. The white lines in between the letters, it's a really unique look. It makes you think of the Blue Jays, and the kind of Blue Jay logo, which you can't really see here with the little um, Canadian uh, leaf with the maple leaf in there, just look really solid. The home whites are not my favorite ones that they have, but they look really good. These are B. I kind of feel about the same with the alternate, not the alternate, with the away grays, the standard away grays. These look good. I think these are really good looking ones. I think I even might like these a little bit more than the home, actually. Now that I'm kind of looking at it more, The Toronto looks good with the O in the middle. These are really good away uniforms. I'm gonna actually put these in A. These are one of my favorite away uniforms. And then, yeah, the Blue Jays, alternate blue. I mean, you got to think of Jose Bautista hitting that home run when you look at these. That it's just this is a great uniform. The white pops off the back. It's got the cool looking numbers on the back. The Blue Jays on the front has the same motif. It's got the Blue Jay logo. These are like such great looking uniforms. I love these. This is one of the best ones in the MLB. This has got to be S. Okay, these are going to be somewhat divisive. We got the D-backs with the white uh, white on red, I suppose. This is not the D-backs' best uniform. I kind of like the rebrand that they did, where they brought in these kind of fading effects. It's not very usual you see that in a baseball uniform, but I think they pull it off pretty well. I like the daringness of it. This is not my particular favorite one that they have, though. And so this one's just going to go in C. But now that we move on to the away one, I mean, I know some people don't really like them, but these dark gray uniforms look awesome. I just think they look amazing, especially with the word Arizona, the Z in the center. The numbers that kind of stretched out look really cool and sleek. Uh, I know on the pant leg, I think all the new Diamondback uniforms have this where they have the kind of fading down into red on the cuff effect, which I think looks really cool. These are really awesome away uniforms. These are one of the best away uniforms that there are in the MLB today. I know some people would disagree with me there. Maybe that's a bit of a controversial opinion, but yeah, these are awesome. These are A for sure. Okay, we got the red D-backs alternate. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say about this. This kind of screams mediocre alternate to me. See. Okay, and then they brought in the blue. That was another bold choice. I like these. I think that they're very bold and they get you noticed. Uh, I I I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe why I like them. Uh, they don't really fit with the rest of the Diamondbacks uniforms, and that's part of their charm is that they stand out. And there's just too many red teams, and this blue color, this kind of like electricy blue, is very unique. Nobody else has this color. I think this is a great uniform. This is this is an A. Okay, alternate. Excuse me, not alternate. This is just the standard Boston away. It's got the lettering for the last name. These look nice. Perhaps not my favorite away, but still like really classic. Look great. I think I like them a little bit less than the Yankees away. I mean, it's going to be hard not to compare them, but I think these are got to be B. Uh, I don't know what it is exactly, but I feel like I should like them as much as the New York Yankees away, and then they have the last name, which should boost them up even higher. But something about the Boston just doesn't look as good in that font as the word Red Sox does, in my opinion. I don't know. I just think they're kind of good and not amazing in that way. Uh, I also kind of look back to that those old Boston away uniforms that they had with the plain lettering that didn't have that Red Sox font. I know some people kind of associate that look with Bill Buckner and the away just kind of plain Boston across the chest. I think that was a better look though. I think that that sets it apart a little bit more from the home uniform, makes it a little bit more interesting. So instead of just being kind of a weaker front than the Red Sox version, the home version, this just that would make it stand out a lot better. So I think that these are just good. I think those are B. All right, we got the home D-backs teal. It's kind of funny. This one does not look that great. Not nearly as great as the away. I think part of it is the contrast. The electric blue contrasts better with the dark gray. I'm not a fan of these really at all. These go in D. All right, we got five Braves uniforms in a row. This is the classic home Braves. Looks great with the tomahawk. The script is really nice. I'm not really sure whether I like the script Braves or the script Atlanta. I think I like the script Atlanta a little bit better. Uh, I think that A is a little bit more classic looking than the script B, and that it just draws your eye to it a little bit more. But the white contrast color looks really great. I think it's going to be hard to give this less than a B. It might even be A worthy. I think I'm going to lean towards B, just because the Brave script is not quite as great looking as I think other ones that the Braves have are. But it's still a good one. That's almost B and a half. Uh, Atlanta away with the script A. I think you kind of flipped one thing for the other. I think that the gray does not look as good as the white in contrasting with the red, but you have the script A, which kind of counterbalances that and makes it really good also. I think this kind of has a similar story to tell with the home one, just kind of flipping around a few things. I think that goes in B. And then you have the cream color Braves. This one kind of has, unfortunately, the worst of both worlds. It doesn't have the popping out of the white, and it doesn't have the script A, which I like a lot better. So this one's going to go in C. And then you have the red alternate Braves. This is a total mediocre alternate. This one's just going to go in C. And then you have the dark blue Atlanta. I like the Atlanta better, but this alternate does not really scream anything to me. I think this is going to go in C. It might even be a D, but I'll be a little bit generous and just put that in C. Okay, home Chicago Cubs, another classic uniform. This one's amazing. One of the best ones out there. Not quite S tier, but definitely at least A tier. Uh, yeah, there's not really much to say about that. It's got the pinstripes, which for older teams, I like pinstripes better on older teams. I don't like it as much when the Rockies or the Brewers do the pinstripes. I think the pinstripes looks great on the old team because it kind of got that old timey look. Those are great uniforms. I think those belong in A. Okay, you have the away Chicago. I'm kind of two minds on this one. Like it looks really nice and it has the contrasting red and blue, which I really like. But at the same time though, I really feel like that's kind of more of a Dodgers motif. I like that that Dodgers look with the white background. With the gray background, it just doesn't quite pop as much. I think that these are more of a C, unfortunately. I think it's kind of C and a half. I'm actually going to round this to B. I think it's it's just it looks nice. It just could look better. Okay, alternates, blues. I don't really love when old teams do the alternate look. This looks very spring training-y to me. Not a fan of this one. Home Cincinnati Reds. Home Cincinnati Reds is a classic look. Looks great. The Reds logo is great. Perhaps a bit on the plain side. Uh, Maybe kind of like a tier below the Detroit Tigers classic white jersey. I think these are good. These are B. Red Sox alternates, like I said, I don't like when the old teams do those alternate looks. It kind of makes it even worse, more offensive than the just kind of boring alternates. So this is a D along with that Chicago Cubs one. Cincinnati Reds away. I think this is one of the better away uniforms out there. It looks really good. The red on the gray is nice. The Cincinnati lettering is nice. Perhaps the letters are a bit squished together, but the fact that it has a bunch of eyes in it kind of makes that almost a positive. It looks like really Cincinnati. I don't really know how to describe it, why I like that so much. Yeah, I think these are really good away uniforms. I think that these belong in A. And then you got the home alternate reds. I think that these belong in B. These are nice. they are better than kind of the blah alternates that you see with a lot of other teams. Uh, I don't know. I think this just shade of red is really nice, and it fits with the Reds logo really great. It doesn't really feel like you're making it red just to be different. It's like that is the Reds color. It doesn't quite work as well with the Washington Nationals. I think it works better with the Cincinnati Reds. Uh, this is another like weird one. I don't even know if I'm going to rank this Los Rojos. A lot of the teams, in fact, most of the teams do this um, Spanish heritage, Hispanic heritage night stuff where they change the logos like the Mariners do, Los Marineros and things like that. I don't think those as uniforms look amazing. I like the intent behind them, but since this doesn't really strike me as a standard, it's more of a special night. I don't really think I want to rank that one. Okay, Rockies pinstripes. I said I don't like pinstripes on newer teams. Rockies would definitely fall into that category. As far as the pinstripes go, though, it they do pull it off quite well, and I think part of that is because the silvery Rockies look solid. Uh, it's it really reminds you of the mountains, like the word Rockies. It looks good. It's not going to be my favorite, but it's going to be a solid uniform. I think these are pretty good. I think I got to put these in B, mostly by dint of the word Rockies, not as much because of the pinstripes. Then you got the away Colorados. These are kind of middling aways. I've seen better away uniforms. There's nothing really to love about these. I think they kind of remind me of the Chicago White Sox in that they're just passable away uniforms. Not too much going on, so not too much to hate, but not too much to love either. Ooh, okay, the purple alternates. I think as far as alternates go, this purple one looks really good. Definitely not going to put it with those mediocre alternates. In fact, I'm going to put this in A because I think, uh, not up here, this one's going to go up in A because it nobody else has the purple. It just looks really great. It's just a nice look. It sets them apart from every other team. The purple is a nice look with the Rockies uh, logo, with the uh, Colorado word here. It's just good. That's definitely an A. Whew, okay, Dodgers with the red number on the front, blue number on the back. I love this look. It's a classic. I don't think anybody is going to disagree with me putting this in S tier. This is, along with the Cardinals, these are the best white home uniforms there are. I think I slightly prefer the Cardinals one, but this is one of the best ones out there. It's just the Dodgers logo looks great. The script D, the the red numbers is really cool looking. It looks better than that Chicago alt away with the red. Yeah, I think that's an S. All right, we're definitely getting the home stretch here. Let's do this away for the Dodgers. It's kind of got a lot going for it that the home one does, but the home one is just so great it really outshines this one. So this one is just going to be good, and this one's going to go in B. And then you got the Los Angeles version. I think the Dodgers word looks much better than the Los Angeles word. I tend to prefer the team nickname to the city anyway in most cases. So that's just going to go in C. Miami Marlins, I do not like the rebrand that they went through. I think that their previous one with the orange looked a lot better. These new ones are a little bit more Miami Vice, which I see what they were going for, but they're just a little bit too blah and not really stand out to me. I'm not a fan. I think these go to D. These alternate for the Boston Red Sox, these are nice as far as alternates go. I'm going to put this in B. I think of a lot of Red Sox games where they wore these. I think that's a nice look. Not amazing by any means, but it looked good. This Miami one kind of has a lot of the same problems that the home whites have. I actually kind of like the gray a little bit better with this color scheme. It's kind of got a similar thing that the Diamondbacks have with their kind of electric blue. But again, the word Miami is kind of blah, and I don't really love it that much more beyond the color scheme, contrasting with the gray. So that just goes in the C. And then there's these black on blacks with the electric blue. these are, I mean, I kind of, oh man, I mean, this one I'm very conflicted about because I, it's so far out there that I kind of love it, but at the same time, like you just can't read it. Yeah, I can't, in good conscience, put this anywhere other than D. It's just it doesn't have enough going for it. I like the idea behind it, but the execution was lacking. And then there's, oh man, I'm really hurting the Miami Marlins as if they didn't, as if they needed more piling onto it. This is a total spring training phone-in job. I do not like this look at all. This is F. Okay, Milwaukee Brewers. We got five Milwaukee Brewers to go here. This is a nice looking home standard white uniform. I one problem that I have with most of the Brewers uniforms is this serif font. I've never liked it. I don't think it looks that great on a baseball uniform. As far as the Brewers uniforms go that use it, this is probably the best one though. The whites look good, and the Brewers script is really interesting. I kind of like the arching that they have that not a lot of their teams have, where it kind of goes up and then levels off. And the number underneath that's kind of a cool effect. That's a B. The front is great. The back is not great at all. I think those kind of counterbalance to just a plain good. If they had chosen a different font, I feel like I could easily put that in A tier, but I'm just not a fan of the serif font. The away has the kind of the same problems. The blue and the gray don't contrast that well, so that's going to go in C. I like this one, kind of similar to the home one. I like the contrast in this. Again, the serif font is not going to let me put it anywhere else but B though. This looks almost the same. Oh, this one has Milwaukee instead of Brewers. uh, yeah, I think I like this about as much as the one with Brewers. I don't really see much of a way to differentiate them. Maybe the Milwaukee's a little more squished in, but it still looks good, just about as good as the Brewers one. Whew. And then we have this classic uh, Brewers look from when they were in the AL. I like this, the numbering and the lettering here better. I like the pinstripes, not super classic pinstripes, but still good. Uh, and I think what really elevates this is the glove logo. This one is going to be, even though it's not pictured here, I got to put this in A tier simply on the glove and ball MB logo, which is one of the best logos in sports. That's got to go in A tier. Okay, Mets pinstripes. Yeah, I think pinstripes in New York, you got to be the Yankees in order to pull that off. Mets have better uniforms than this one. I am not a fan of this. This is a D. This one looks better. The away New York, I think it looks a lot better in terms of contrast. Uh, I think I'm debating between B and C. I think I'm going to put this in B because it's a good look. I like kind of the script thing that it's going on, sort of similar to the Boston Red Sox. It's kind of got that nice one, uh, that kind of old timey, sort of gothicy looking. I'm not really sure even how to describe this script, but it looks nice. I like the blue and the orange contrasting with the gray. I think that's a B. All right, home White Sox pinstripes. Older team pinstripes looks good. I've never super loved the kind of standard Sox logo. It looks okay. I think this is a C. Then we got the New York with the blue. I think the blue one looks a lot better contrasted with the orange and Mets. I don't like this New York Mets one, so this one's D. But I do like this Mets look a lot. I like the orange popping out on the front. This one's really good. I think uh, this has got to be an A tier uniform. It's the look that I associate with the Mets. It really pops out there. I think that's a really nice looking uniform. It's up there with the best of the alternates. All right, Phillies. Phillies, oh, pinstripe whites. Uh, Not the best pinstripes out there. I've never super loved the font that the Phillies have used either. Uh, I don't hate it. The kind of like it's kind of like bubbly and scripty. Uh, I don't know. It kind of feels like it has the worst of both worlds in some ways, where it's not scripty enough and it's not uh, like kind of in your face. I kind of like the script L's. They do look nice. The script P just pales in comparison to the swirly P, which we'll get to. So I think this is kind of middling. I think I just got to put this in C. And the away uniform pretty much suffers from all the same things that the home one does. It's kind of hard to divorce these two. That one also goes in C. You got the cream ones. I can picture Bryce Harper wearing these to the chagrin of Nats fans, although they have their trophy now, so they probably don't really even care. Yeah, I like these. I like these a little bit better than the standard Phillies ones. This one goes in B. One of the better cream colored uniforms out there. All right. Yeah, the powder blue with the swirly P. Definitely the best Phillies uniform. Reminds me of Mike Schmidt. This is a great look. This is an A tier for sure. Okay, home whites for the Pirates. I really like the Pirate script. I think the the Pittsburgh gold and yellow look that all the teams use is really well captured in this home white. Uh, this is a excellent uniform. I think I got to put this in A. It's just one of the best home whites that you'll see. It's so classic looking and it the fact that it doesn't even try need the pinstripes to do it kind of reminds me of the Detroit Tigers. It's a really good uniform. Yeah, it's kind of definitely got a lot in common with the home white for the Red Sox and the home white for the Tigers. Yeah, that's name. This is one of my favorite away uniforms, the Pittsburgh away. I think a lot of people don't like this, probably because they're comparing it to the old script pinstripe away grays that they used to wear. I actually prefer these to those, partially because I don't like pinstripes on gray. I think that this word Pittsburgh looks really cool. The fact that it's a long word might be a downside, but I actually think they turn it around and they managed to fit the letters in quite well. It's not quite as good as the home, but it is still very nice looking. So I'm going to put this in B. And then this is one of my favorites. The Pirates have some excellent uniforms. Uh, the alternate blacks they started wearing, I think, in the 2010s. Just the giant P. It's huge, and it has a lot in common with the Gothic D, but it's just so bold and kind of got this piratey attitude to it. The uh, black alternate is a tough look to pull off, and I think these contrasting with the yellow pull it off excellently. I think this is an A tier uniform. Okay, this is I think these are the 1971 throwbacks. These are nice. Uh, they kind of have a little bit of a pajama look to them, which I mean, admittedly, a lot of uniforms do, but that kind of makes them not my favorite. I do like the sort of mustard yellow color, especially that on the hat that goes with these. But this particular uniform, even with the kind of stripes on the sleeves, is not super great to me. The Pirates definitely have better ones. I think this is a C. It's not offensive in any way, and it kind of has that kind of history to it, but I'm not in love with it. I think it's just a C. Okay, away. Are these away? I guess these are just alternate blacks for the White Sox. This is a really good one. This is a good alternate. Black alternate, again, is hard to pull off. Not quite as good as the Pirates one, but the black and white looks solid. I like it. It's B. And coming into the home stretch here, I think this is the last one I'm going to do. This is just the home whites for the Baltimore Orioles. Again, I think this is one of the best home whites. This is a really classic look. The script O is just an amazing uh, look. It's kind of got that. underlying quality that a lot of teams try to pull off but don't very well. I think this is going to go in A. All right. So this has been Tier Maker MLB uniforms. As you can see, the best ones are the San Diego Padres brown alternates, the white homes for the St. Louis Cardinals, the teal alternates for the Mariners, the blue alternates for the Blue Jays, and the white homes for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Those are the cream of the crop when it comes to uniforms that you will see out in the MLB today. Yeah, the it's going to be tough to top those if they ever decide to take them out of rotation. Clearly, the Cardinals and the Dodgers ones are going to be sticking around for a long, long time. And I hope that they never get rid of these other three because those are some of my favorite uniforms. Yeah, so that's all I got. Uh, yeah, have a good one. Hope baseball comes back. Best wishes to all you. Yeah, take care of yourselves. Bye bye.